Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from books to movies to video games, and applying the characters within into the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. And today, we're going to be looking at a core mechanic of D&D itself, specifically a Cleric subclass right out of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, the Forge Domain. The Forge Domain channels their inner Hephaestus and other gods of iron and metalworking, and really turns the Cleric into a really powerful blacksmith. But there's so much more to it than that. Let's have a look-see at how this Cleric shakes out. Now, as with all Cleric subclasses, they get an expanded spell list. This spell list includes standouts like Identify and Searing Smite. It's cool that a Cleric gets a Smite spell. Heat Metal, Elemental Weapon, Wall of Fire, and Animate Objects. Great spells here. I give this spell list a 7 out of 10. There's a couple in there that don't quite work like you'd hope. They also get their bonus proficiencies of heavy armor and smith's tools. Weird. No martial weapons for this particular cleric, so that's okay. They can still use their simple weapons and maybe take a feat or train with a martial weapon, but nothing straight off the bat. 9 out of 10 for that. They also, at first level, get the Blessing of the Forged Power. At the end of a long rest, they can touch a non-magical piece of armor or weapon. That weapon or armor becomes a +1 weapon until you long rest again. So you always have a +1 weapon or +1 armor in your party right from level 1. That's crazy. Most people don't get those until the later tiers in play, tier 2 at least. The fact that you get this straight away and it's free, basically, and that you can switch it as necessary, 10 out of 10. Right there, the Forged Cleric is starting off with a bang. Then it gets interesting. At level 2, they get their special channel divinity, Artisan's Blessing. They can use this channel divinity as an hour-long ritual. They have to lay down a certain amount of metal to create any non-magical item. Armor, weapons, ammunition, tools. They can even copy an item like a key if they have the original with them. This is an interesting one, and it rewards creative play. The thing that gets me is that it's not super helpful unless you've lost your gear. Like, it's cool that you can copy a key. It's cool that you can lay down, some gold pieces and iron and make a sword. But there's a cost limit. No free plate mail, I'm afraid. The only way that you can create something is if it's worth under 100 gold pieces, which kind of limits the value of the spell. But if you need another weapon or some cheaper armor that has metal in it, this might be for you. I say kinda niche. I give it 6 out of 10. Then at level 6, they make up for it with the Soul of the Forged Power. They gain 2 abilities here. Fire resistance, which is great, and another +1 bonus to their AC whenever they wear heavy armor. They don't have to enchant the armor, just heavy armor, you get an extra AC point. Let's count this for a second. If they're wearing plate mail by level 6, that's 18. Plus 19 for Soul of the Forge, plus 20 for Blessing of the Forge. And then if you put a shield on, that's a 22 AC at level 6. Without any other spells. That's kind of nuts. And I say Soul of the Forge is another 10 out of 10 ability for the Forge Domain Cleric. Then at level 8, they get their Divine Strike. Every time they hit with a weapon, it does an extra bit of fire damage, which goes up at level 14. No complaints here, 9 out of 10. And then finally, at level 17, their capstone feature, so good. Saint of Forge and Fire. This gives them fire immunity, not resistance. Tell me another class that gives you damage immunity. Just say screw you to that big red dragon. His flame weapon ain't gonna hurt you. And on top of that, as long as you're wearing heavy armor, you get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And it only works against non-magical weapons, but again, that red dragon is suddenly looking a lot less scary. His fire can't hurt you, his attacks don't do as much damage, and you're wearing heavy armor, rocking AC up in the mid 20s by this point. Holy crap. 10 out of 10 for Soul of the or Saint of the Forge and Fire. And overall, Forge Domain Cleric gets a 9 out of 10. They have a couple little hiccups in there, but they've got 3 solid 10 out of 10 abilities, heavy armor proficiency, some good spells. Like, really, they are a fantastic cleric subclass. And if you wanted to channel your inner god of the forge, this domain is not going to disappoint you. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.